Hi, and welcome to another edition of Focus St. Charles County. I'm Scott Drochnik. Thank you so much for joining us. Today, we're going to be talking about the justice system in St. Charles County, and specifically services that are provided to children who've unfortunately experienced sexual or physical abuse. Specifically, we're going to be talking about the CHAMPS Assistance Dog Program that takes rescued animals, trains them, and puts them into service here and throughout the greater St. Louis area. The women who train them are at the Vandalia Prison, and it's also in cooperation with the Missouri Department of Corrections. Here to tell us all about it is Nola Ewers, the board president of CHAMP Assistance Dogs.
CHAMP is a service dog provider organization. We're based in St. Louis and we serve the greater St. Louis area. We also do provide facility dogs. We've placed 55 dogs to date. Most of those dogs are service dogs who work with their partners who have physical disabilities. They help their partners live more independently, doing things like retrieving items their partner may drop, opening, closing doors, turning lights off and on, getting an emergency 911 phone, things like that. We also place facility dogs. Those are dogs that work with an individual in a setting. It could be a medical setting. It could be, we have one facility dog working in a hospice in Southern Illinois. And we will soon be placing a facility dog here at the St. Charles County Courthouse. The facility dogs are not considered service dogs because they don't work directly with a person who has a disability. They can be used, though, to help people feel more comfortable in the different settings where they're used, like the courthouse. And our service dogs as well as our facility dogs are all placed free of charge. Our organization has been around since 1998, so I believe that makes us 16 years old this year. CHAMP is partnered with the Missouri Department of Corrections. We have a prison training program at the Women's Prison in Vandalia, Missouri. We've got a great group of trainers up there who help us train our service dogs and our facility dogs. We've been at the prison in Vandalia since 2002, and of the 55 total service dogs CHAMP has placed, 38 of them have been trained through the prison program by the offenders. Our CHAMP puppy raisers in the community will take the dogs from the time we first get them, which is usually around 8 weeks old, until the dogs are about 5 months old. In that first couple of months, they spend a lot of time socializing the dogs. And we spend a lot of time on that because we want the dogs to be confident, happy workers in a variety of different settings, comfortable with the sights and sounds they will see in their future jobs. When the puppies are about 5 months old, they'll head up to the prison. The puppies will live at the prison with their trainers while they're learning all the skills they're going to need for their future careers. Typically we'll have the puppies up there for, based on the age of the dog, anywhere from 3 to 8 weeks at a time, and then we rotate them from the prison back out to their puppy caregivers so they can spend more time getting socialized in the community. We rotate them in and out of prison until they're around 2 years old and their training is finished. Our training program is very positive. It's a lot of fun for the dogs and the trainers. The first thing that we work on up at the prison is teaching the dog how to pay attention to their trainer. We emphasize very solid basics and then build on those. By the time they're ready for placements, the dogs will have a wide range of skills, including great positioning skills. They'll walk very nicely on a loose leash, have solid sits and downs and stays, retrieves. They'll also learn how to retrieve a 911 phone, help with gloves, coats, that kind of stuff. When we first start training a dog, we don't know at that point what that dog's future career might be. So all the dogs will start with that basic set of skills. As we get closer to the dog being finished and ready for placement, then we will add whatever specific skills that dog is going to need for their actual job. The program gives the women a very real and a very positive way that they can give back to the community, and that means a lot to them. They work really hard to learn all the skills they need on how to train our dogs, and at the same time they're learning skills that are going to let them be more successful upon their release. It's not just about learning how to train dogs, but we spend a lot of time with positive motivation techniques, how to work well with others, practicing their social skills, and also they get a lot of practice with making good decisions. Training these dogs that are then going to go on to help someone who needs them is a very powerful thing to do. And it's something that our trainers are very proud of, and it's something they should be proud of because they're part of something that is very special. A courthouse dog is going to be a dog that is a very well-balanced, very solid temperament dog. They'll typically be about 2 years old before they're ready for placement. We train a lot of different kinds of service dogs. I think one thing that's unique about the courthouse dogs is that they have to be pretty much unflappable in almost all situations. They have to be quiet, they have to be calm, they have to work well within a group of individuals who all might want to meet them, as well as have the skill set where they can concentrate on a particular person who also needs their assistance. So they have to be able to focus on that person as needed, even when that person might be expressing some strong emotions, or they might be showing some kind of anxiety, fear, trauma, something like that. The dog has to be calm and settled in all circumstances. They also have to be solid, so they're not going to interrupt whatever's going on between the person and the criminal justice professionals. So the dogs have to be very professional themselves. The right dog is going to be a dog that is very, very calm, very accepting, relaxed, a dog that can just kind of chill out, settle down, be a steady, calm influence on the traumatized person that they're working with. If anybody'd like to learn more about CHAMP, our services, our assistance dogs, facility dogs, you can contact us at 314-653-9466. You can also check out our website, champdogs.org.
Nola, thank you so much. And as she mentioned, the CHAMP assistance dogs are actually participating with the St. Charles County Prosecuting Attorney's Office on a thing called the Courthouse Dog Project. This is a wonderful program that brings these service dogs into the courthouse to help children who have sadly experienced sexual or physical abuse. Here to tell us more about the program and how it helps is Jillian Anderson, the Chief Attorney for Policy and Development in the St. Charles County Prosecuting Attorney's Office.
In 2013, under the direction of Prosecuting Attorney Tim Lomar, the St. Charles County Prosecuting Attorney's Office initiated the Courthouse Dog Project. We were very fortunate to find a community partner in CHAMP. CHAMP and its dedicated group of staff and volunteers are truly what has given this program wings. In St. Charles County, we use the Courthouse Dog to support children who have been victims of sexual or physical abuse, and we support them by bringing in the dog into the courthouse whenever the child needs to visit the courthouse, whether that be for a deposition or for trial testimony. Abused children are particularly vulnerable to re-victimization by the court process. In fact, it's their inherent vulnerability that often tends to cause abusers to single them out for physical or sexual abuse. As prosecutors in this area of crime, we often see that when children are called on to come to court for depositions or for testimony, that request of them can trigger traumatic memories. It can cause disassociation in the child or cause that child to withdraw and shut down. It can even cause that child to lose their ability to remember details and be able to respond to questioning by attorneys or by judges. It was a true ray of light when the Courthouse Dog program came to St. Charles County. For the first time, we had something to offer these children that would help them to become more relaxed and to dissipate the stress and anxiety that comes along with being in a courthouse, knowing that you're going to be asked to testify against your abuser. The first time in St. Charles County that we used the Courthouse Dog program was in a particularly difficult sexual abuse trial involving a 9-year-old girl. And when I first met this little girl almost 2 years before the jury trial, whenever the topic of the abuse would come up, she would put her head down, tears would well up in her eyes, and she'd tell us she simply couldn't talk about it. 2 years later, as trial was approaching, we introduced her to a courthouse dog named Jersey, and she and Jersey struck up an immediate friendship. And when we called her back to let her know that the trial was coming and we needed her to come down to the courthouse, her first question wasn't, do I have to come or do I have to talk? It was, is Jersey going to be there? And it just seemed to make all the difference. On the day of the jury trial, She sat in our victim waiting room for about 2 hours, and that whole time Jersey was right by her side. There were times she was laying on Jersey, there were times she was hugging Jersey and crying into Jersey, and there were times that she just sat there with all of her anxious energy and just pet Jersey over and over and over again. I have no doubt that it was that experience and the comfort that Jersey brought to this process that allowed that 9-year-old girl to take that witness stand. In this particular case, when she took the witness stand, she did not bring Jersey with her. Instead, we gave her a very small stuffed animal replica of Jersey. And the entire time that she was in that courtroom, on that witness stand, with the prosecutor and the defense attorney questioning her, she had that little black stuffed Jersey in her hand the entire time. When she got off that witness stand, the first thing she wanted to do was go back and be with Jersey. The prosecuting attorney's office is so grateful to CHAMP and their partnership in this very special project. Without CHAMP and their dedicated group of staff and volunteers, none of this would be possible. We also want to say thank you to the Missouri Department of Corrections and their director, George Lombardi, as well as the very special women in Vandalia who trained these incredible dogs for us. We also would like to thank the Child Center in Wentzville and their director, Sissy Swift, as well as Diane Mueller and Fran Piper of the St. Charles County Stress Council and the St. Louis Crisis Nursery for their continued support of this program. Without the support of community-based organizations like these and the support of the public, none of these programs would be possible. As a prosecutor, it is such a nice change to call a victim or their family, and when we ask them to come to court, instead of saying, do I have to come? Do I have to testify? Now the first question is, will Jersey be there?
Jillian, thank you so much and all the best with this program. Well, folks, don't go away. We're going to take a quick little break. But when we come back, we're going to hear from some of the women at the Vandalia prison who actually train these wonderful dogs.
So, I got this new family. And I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy. Oh, and she even talks to it. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
Welcome back to Focus St. Charles County. I'm Scott Drochnik, and we are continuing to talk about the justice system in St. Charles County and how there are special services to help children who have sadly experienced abuse. So far, we've talked about the CHAMP Assistance Dog Program, the Courthouse Dog Project, and now we're going out to Vandalia, Illinois to talk with some of the women inmates there at the prison who actually train these marvelous dogs.
My dog's name is Ranger. He's a golden retriever. He is 7 months old and he is being trained to be a service dog.
My dog's name is Jersey. She is a 10-year-old Labrador retriever, and Jersey has been a part of the CHAMP program for about 10 years or so.
This is Doppler, and he's been with the program 2 years. He's fixing to go to a client, a child client. So he come in to learn some specialized skills just for that situation.
I love what CHAMP stands for and how they help clients out there live more, a lifestyle where they don't have to have a lot of help from a lot of people. So I love that about it, and I wanted to be a part, even though I'm incarcerated. I wanted to give back, and this was my perfect opportunity. To train a dog to help someone on the outside live a better life.
I've been working with CHAMP for about 3.5 years. I decided to get into the program because my parental rights were terminated to my children, and to me, training a dog is similar to parenthood, and I really just missed out on that opportunity, so I chose to nurture dogs. I really just love the CHAMP program. I love everything that it stands for. I love the message behind it, and after committing a crime against someone, I just really appreciate what they bring to the institution and give us a chance to kind of, compensate for those wrongs that we've committed to society. It kind of gives us a way to, make amends for the wrongs that we've done.
CHAMP is it's just a great organization. It makes you feel so good that you're helping somebody out there that needs your help. And you can't do it yourself, but you can put something good out there that you've done. Well, I've only had 3 dogs, and they've all been rescued. So my hope is just to find them a great home and a second chance. It's, you know, in a way it's like you're giving a part of yourself, and they've been put away, kind of like we're put away, and then you're giving them that second chance like you're going to get when you get released, to find that great home and to be happy. So you feel like you're giving a little piece of you to put out there, and you want them to find a great home and be happy and be successful. And give them a little bit of manners so they don't mess up and chew something up, get kicked out, or bite somebody, you know. Just make them happy.
Champ has taught me a lot. When I first came to be incarcerated, I was very angry and didn't want to be in prison. But Champ has taught me how to humble myself and to have more patience. And that just because I'm in here doesn't mean that I'm not a person that can give back. They make me feel like I'm a person and not just someone with a number. Me and all the other girls that are a part of this organization that help train the dogs, we become like a close-knit family, where we might not always get along, but we always know we have each other's back. And if we have, like if I'm having an issue and I can't figure out, I'm trying to get my dog to do this and I've tried everything that's in my arsenal, I can always go to another trainer and they might have a better idea or a simpler idea that can help me transform it into my dog and get him to do what he needs to be done. We always like to help each other out. We never want our dogs to not to get the exercise. We don't want them to fail. Our goal is to, even if it's just a rescue dog, we want these dogs to go to their forever homes and know that we had a part to do with it.
I feel like that the group of women is special, but not special, meaning it does take a lot of patience to train a dog, a lot of patience. So the women that work with the dogs, I feel as though we are special in that we have the patience, the tolerance level, you know, the temperament level, and different things like that to work with the dogs, but not special in that we're just regular people. You know, we're looking for, you know, skills to do when we get out of here. We're looking for positive things to do while we're in here, you know, ways to give back to the community and stop focusing on being so selfish, which is normally what leads us to prison in the first place. I hope that any dog that I train does exactly what it's supposed to do. If it's a rescue dog, I hope that my rescue dog goes to a family and just makes that family happy. I started off in Champ training nothing but rescue dogs. And the first one that I had, I was so sad because she was leaving me and I had gotten attached, and she pranced right out of the institution and didn't even look back. And so I was like, okay, I didn't need to cry or anything because she was happy. And so seeing her happy made me happy. And me personally, I've been involved in a lot of stuff in the prison, a lot of stuff. And my very first service dog, I got pictures of him and his client, and they brought tears to my eyes because you could see from this picture that the client was so ecstatic to have this dog. And I knew the dog so well because I had had him for about a year on and off, and he was happy to be with the guy. And that made me feel like that training him was probably the most fulfilling thing that I had done. And I've been locked up 16 years. Hands down, the most fulfilling thing ever. I love the dogs because they don't care if I'm black, if I'm white, if I'm fat, skinny, tall or short. You know, they don't care. As long as we show them love, they'll give it right back.
I've been with Champ for about 10 months. And I've been down for about 5 years. And when you're isolated away from your family and your friends, and you only have visits like twice a year, you can show affection to the dogs, and you have somebody that you can love on and care for. And it actually just means a lot to your sanity and the mother in you and stuff. Whenever I got arrested and the whole situation happened, you go from being a pillar of the community, or not really a pillar, but you know, in the community, to being kicked out of the community, and there's no happy medium, and so your self-esteem just plummets, and you have to find yourself, and they make you feel worthy again. They make you feel like you're doing something good again, like it just builds your self-esteem. And it has done that for me. And it's also given me better skills at leadership skills, because you have to learn to take charge and be the alpha. And I've developed those in this situation because I was a softie. I just loved them. But I had to learn that. That was harder for me than it is some people who are just automatically outspoken and all that. And it's helped with that too. And you know, this is something that you can use when you get out. You could teach it to your own dog, or you say you have an older family member, teach them things, or even a weekend income at a park. Just, you can always use it. It's nothing, you can even use some of these things that you learn with dogs, even with people. It's how you approach people. Watch their body language. You can look into a dog's eyes and it's like they know what you're thinking. It's like they have a deeper soul than we do. And they're so loyal. They don't care. They love you. They don't care what you've done. They don't care what you've been through. They love you. And they're just compassionate.
Thank you so much to the inmates out at the Vandalia Prison for all the work they are doing with the Champ Assistance Dog Program. Well, folks, Focus is going to take a quick little break. When we come back, we're going to visit a child advocacy center out in Wentzville, and we're going to hear about a new law in the state of Missouri regarding reporting child abuse.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Call this free government program for the option that's right for you.
Welcome back to Focus. I'm Scott Drochnik. Today we are continuing to talk about the justice system in St. Charles County and specialized services and care that are provided to children who've unfortunately been victims of sexual and physical abuse. Next up, we're heading out to Wentzville to the Child Center. It's a child advocacy center that provides a friendly environment for children who have actually reported abuse. And we're going to be speaking with Elphanie Swift, the executive director, about their programs and ways that you can help and support.
The Child Center is a child advocacy center. We offer a friendly location for children who have reported abuse. The purpose of the Child Center is to conduct what is known as a forensic interview. Statistics show that 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys will be sexually or physically abused by the age of 18. Child advocacy centers work as part of a multidisciplinary team. The team consists of the prosecuting attorney, law enforcement, children's division, and juvenile if it's a juvenile on juvenile offense. Our role in that team is to 1, bring the team together, and 2, to conduct the interview. Child advocacy centers also work to prevent child abuse. In 2013, we reached over 20,000 individuals, adults and children. Through funding received from the St. Charles Community Resource Board, we have prevention specialists in every school district in St. Charles County. We take our referrals directly from our team members. When a person suspects abuse, they would call the hotline. The hotline, which is located in Jefferson City, will contact the local children's division, who will go out and do a cursory interview. If they feel that child needs a full forensic interview, then they will contact us. We have really 2 main programs. Our first one would be what we call services, and that is the forensic piece. That is where we have specially trained interviewers who actually interview the children. If any child is interviewed here, there are some special services that we also recommend that they receive. One would be a professional forensic medical exam. We work with Cardinal Glennon to do that. We right now send our children down to Cardinal Glennon, and we are in the process of having conversations with Cardinal Glennon to get those services provided here on site. In addition to the medical exam, every child is also referred for mental health services. We have a mental health specialist here on site, and we also refer out to other mental health professionals in the community. Every child will also get an advocate who will work closely with them and their family throughout the entire legal process, giving them referrals for different social services or whatever else that they may need to help them through that period. Our second program is prevention, and in our prevention program, we work directly in the schools. We have prevention specialists who go out into the schools, and we teach the kids that their body is their body and that no one has the right to touch or look at their private body parts. We go over what we call the body safety steps, and those steps are 1, say no, 2, get away, and 3, tell a grown-up. The other thing that we teach them is to continue to tell, because oftentimes they may tell in a way that an adult does not understand. So we teach them to not only tell, but to keep telling until someone actually hears them or does something about it. We also teach them the 3 L's, and that is that the perpetrator may not be a stranger, that it is usually someone that they love, like, or live with. We have lots of ways that individuals can give to the Child Center. We have events throughout the year. If individuals would like more information, they can go to our website at www.thechildcenter.com, or they can give us a call at 636-332-0899. If people want to learn more about the Child Center, we have an opportunity where individuals can come the second Wednesday of every month to what we call our breakfast tour. The breakfast tour is open for the general public. It's open for individuals who want to be on our board, individuals in the community, different social service agencies that we work with. Anyone who wants to learn more about the Child Center can come to that breakfast tour. We have a little breakfast, a brief presentation, 1 hour, and you're in and out. If anyone is interested in attending the breakfast tour, they just need to contact us at 636-332-0899. Just because you may never see it, just because you don't talk about it, just because you find it hard to believe, does not mean it is not happening right in our community. We all have a responsibility to help prevent and to stop child abuse.
Thank you, Elphanie, and we appreciate the work that you're providing through the Child Center out in Wentzville. Well, we've heard about how to help children after they've unfortunately been victimized, but there's also been a lot of changes when it comes to reporting child abuse in the state of Missouri, especially in the last few years. Here to tell us about the state laws and the changes that have happened is Tim Lomar, the St. Charles County Prosecuting Attorney.
The Missouri Child Abuse Hotline is operated 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It's run by well-trained Children's Division workers who will be able to appropriately assess your concerns. The identity of those who call the hotline to report suspicions of abuse or neglect is confidential, and anonymous reports are accepted. In response to the Jerry Sandusky crimes at Penn State University, the law in Missouri changed in 2013. It was no longer sufficient to report suspicions of abuse to a supervisor or administrator. Instead, the duty to report suspected child abuse is a direct individual duty. By law, mandated reporters must report to the hotline when they have any reasonable cause to even suspect that a child is, has been in the past, or may be in the future, abused or neglected. Mandated reporters must also report to the hotline when they observe a child in conditions or circumstances that would reasonably result in abuse or neglect. Under the law, anyone who's responsible for the care of children is a mandated reporter. This includes, but is not limited to, all medical providers, mental health care professionals, social workers, daycare staff, school personnel, ministers, and all law enforcement. However, anyone can and should use the Child Abuse Hotline if they have concerns, whether they are a mandated reporter or not. It would be natural for someone who has suspicions to hesitate and want to know more before they take the step of calling the hotline. But we caution against further investigation. There are lots of detailed protocols to properly investigating suspected child abuse, and if you don't know what you're doing, you may actually damage authorities' ability to thoroughly and properly investigate. If you call the hotline and you continue to have suspicions of abuse, please call again. If a child discloses abuse to you, do not question the child in great detail. Do not offer the child any benefit for telling. Instead, thank the child for telling you, tell the child how brave they are, and then call the hotline. Please keep in mind that crimes against children can occur over the internet as well. Should you have any concern about internet-based child abuse, please also call the Missouri Child Abuse Hotline. While considering one's duty to report suspected child abuse or neglect, it's very important to know that in 2012, the law defining criminal child abuse in Missouri changed dramatically. Previously, child abuse was limited to egregious and excessive acts of punishment. The law has been completely overhauled. Criminal child abuse now encompasses any infliction of physical injury to a child that is non-accidental and that's not reasonable corporal punishment. But importantly, criminal child abuse now also includes neglect, mental and emotional abuse, and sexual abuse. Criminal charges can be brought against someone who intentionally and unjustly injures a child physically, mentally, or emotionally. Criminal charges can also be brought against someone who takes unreasonable risk with a child by placing that child in a situation in which they're likely to suffer physical or mental injury from abuse. Countywide, we take our commitments to protecting children in St. Charles County very seriously. We have a committed team of government and non-government professionals ready and prepared to investigate properly and thoroughly. But any solution to the difficult problem of child abuse and neglect must include the commitment of communities, neighbors, relatives, and each and every person with whom our children come into contact. Few reports to the Child Abuse Hotline end up leading to criminal prosecutions. In many more instances, social services is allowed to engage with families in a manner that creates change in individuals and families, that strengthens relationships, promotes healing, and builds a family environment secure against abuse and neglect.
Tim, thank you so much for that legal overview about the changes in Missouri law when it comes to reporting child abuse. Well, folks, that's all the time we have for this very important issue. Hopefully you've learned a lot. I know that we have. And we look forward to seeing you again as we continue our focus on St. Charles County. I'm Scott Drochnik. See you soon.